So my day roughly looks like waking up in the morning via alarm, of course. And the first thing I do when I jump out of bed is I head off to the bathroom and I have a cold shower. The idea is it really helps me to wake up. I can sometimes wake up feeling groggy, and it's a good idea to wake up. There's a whole lot of other reasons why I do that. Anyway, after that, I come in and get on to making this content, making content in general. After that, I go for a run or a walk with the dog, then I do work, then I do some more walking with the dog, and then I do some more work and I go to the gym, then I cook dinner, etc., etc. The other morning, I woke up and was feeling pretty groggy. I jumped out of bed, I put my dressing gown on, and I jumped back into bed and I started doom scrolling. I didn't get to the cold shower. I come in, I made content. I struggled my way through it. I didn't go to the gym, and I didn't eat healthy that night. So what I'm talking about here is comes under multiple things, but today I'm discussing it in the form of keeping promises to yourself and how keeping promises to yourself is compounding choices, essentially. When I start the day strong and I keep the first promise to myself, that is that my alarm goes off and I get out of bed, I have my phone on the other side of the room to encourage me to get out of bed to turn it off. So when I jump out of bed and I don't get back into bed, that's me keeping my first promise to myself. And then when I keep my next promise to myself, which is the cold shower, it compounds and builds. It's essentially another way of building discipline, really, when I think about it, as we discuss this. And that momentum builds until later on in the day, and then you start feeling fatigued, and that's when discipline really is a key element to finishing building that discipline. But it helps build momentum too, because it compounds over multiple days, right? And then when I get out of bed, chuck my dressing gown on, or get out of bed, turn the alarm off, or even worse, just lie there and listen to my alarm for 5 minutes, because I know the alarm turns off after 5 minutes. I don't start my day strong. Those days are nowhere near as productive as when I start strong. When we don't keep promises with ourselves, what's happening is it's like a compounding effect, as I mentioned, compounding choices, right? So the more decisions that we make that are keeping to the promises that we set ourselves, the more that compounds over the day, over the week, over a year, over a decade, right? And you can even do experiments yourself, just even on a daily basis, and observe when you make a decision that's breaking a promise to yourself, how inclined you are to keep the next promise to yourself or do the next thing that you've set out for yourself to do. And when you start breaking them, essentially it's pretty challenging to get back on the horse, shall we say, and continue to do the other promises that you'd set out for yourself. And I want to point out too, there's a difference between making and keeping promises to other people and making and keeping promises to yourself. We are highly motivated, as a rule of thumb anyway, we are highly motivated to do things for other people. What we can't do for ourselves, we can almost easily do for other people in certain circumstances. In fact, that's actually a good tactic for helping develop ourselves, is actually what we struggle with do for someone else, and then it actually helps us grow too. I digress. So there's a big difference between doing and keeping promises for other people and keeping promises for ourselves. And when we have these compounding choices, these compounding promises that we keep to ourselves, it also builds self-belief. So when we don't have much self-belief, even confidence in ourselves, essentially, I can look back on when I have had my lowest self-belief, my lowest amount of confidence, and I can definitely reflect on my actions, and some of it is based on the fact that I don't keep promises to myself. And so when we start to become conscious of this, the idea, it's kind of like, if you've read the book Atomic Habits, he talks about creating small habits that build every day, and small habits essentially change your identity over a period of time. He also talks about, if you can't build a new habit, add one small action to a pre-existing habit. But I digress. Again, what I'm getting at is start small, right? Like if you jump out of bed in the morning, well, jump might even be the wrong word, right? If we're starting really small, it might just be getting out of bed. Do you make your bed? Make a promise to yourself, this week I'm going to make my bed every morning that I get out of bed. And even just that small thing, keeping that small promise right at the start of the day, can help to compound into bigger promises to yourself later. But just start really small. I mean, Jordan Peterson talks about this as well. He talks about these people that are really low in life and they're still living with their parents, etc., etc. And he says, he tells them, one of the first things he tells them is, how tidy is your room? Are you living in a mess? Tidy your room. And that is literally the start of their journey. So this concept's pretty much exactly that. Just start small and work on building up, keeping those promises to yourself, because you are essentially building discipline here. This is essentially a way of building discipline, right? And another point that I think is relevant to this as well is, if you do break some promises to yourself, something that you have set out, don't repeat it. So a massive error that I made a lot when I was younger was that I'd break one promise to myself. So I'd do really well. I'd break one promise and then I'd just spiral off and crash and burn. I have, of course, since then learned a lot about myself and realized that I was keeping myself in a loop too as well. So I was just reliving a pattern that I was familiar with. Still, it is relevant to mention that if you miss one day or you miss one promise, remember that it's compounding. So just because you miss one, it doesn't mean that everything is lost. And even if you miss two, it doesn't mean everything is lost. When you start missing more and more, that's when it starts turning on us. So just get back on the horse. If you take 2 steps back, just remember to take the next step forward. And I can appreciate that when we start to step backwards, it feels like everything is lost. I really can appreciate that, and I just want to reassure you, excuse me, I just want to reassure you that through my own experience, it absolutely is not. And this is one of the crucial parts about breaking old habits and making progress in life, is that ability to get back on track sooner, because everyone has bad days. Everyone makes a bad decision on the occasion. Everyone breaks a promise to themselves. Just remember to jump back on and start stepping forward again as soon as possible. Crucial, crucial. So, start your day strong. Start by keeping small promises to yourself and then build up bigger promises. If you break promises to yourself, remember not to make it a pattern and that it's compounding. 1, 2, 3 even, that's okay. Get back on track as soon as possible. And I promise you, you will start to see a difference. All right, that's it for today, team. Thank you very much and have an awesome day.